Go first, but here I am. So just to give you a little bit of context, we're called the Burly Girls. It's a bit of a secret name. It comes from the fact that we're all from Burlington, so you're in on it. So all of us in this room no doubt realize what a truly special redhead we have here with us. Tonight I'm happy to be here to share with you just a little bit about how important Vanessa is to the five of us. And how thankful we are that she and Bryan found each other and that we could be here today to celebrate their love. Each of us Burly Girlies would like to take a few minutes to share a bit about some of the thousands of memories we've shared and some of those memories that have helped shape the incredible woman and dear friend that she is today. I first met Vanessa in grade 9. It was an unfortunate time for all of our hair. We promptly managed on getting to know you grade 9 hike, where we got to know each other so well that we strayed off the path and got a little bit lost. But clearly we found our way, and that worked out pretty well. So despite being lost in the treacherous wilderness of the greater Burlington area, we managed to get to know each other a little bit better, and I realized that there were some benefits to meeting new people in the new school that I was going to. And then over the years, as you can imagine, I was quite pleased that the relationship grew, and there have been hours of conversation since, and we've yet to get lost in those ones. But through and through, I've always been incredibly taken by just how generous Vanessa is and her compassion. Whether it was to share the wealth of advanced style tips, we look this good for a reason. It's thanks to Vanessa and her depth and knowledge of fashion and all of those wonderful things. She also shared her musical know-how, and I'm not sure if Timmy G, her brother, knows, but she was so generous at lending out your CDs to me. I just had to make sure that I returned them so that you couldn't tell that I'd been listening to them. So just to let you know about that. She also helped to outfit me for many coveted occasions so that I could look as cute as I do today, including the coveted Canadian Tire ball that I was quite nervous to attend, but ended up wearing seafoam green thanks to Vanessa. She's been a shoulder to cry on in some of the more difficult times that we've had over the years, and she's been an ally and a force to reckon with in the kitchen and in so many other ways. She's quite an amazing person, and over the next few minutes you'll hear a little bit more about that. So I'm going to move on from the early years of Vanessa and give a chance to the other girls to talk about just how incredible she is and talk a little bit about the journey that led to bringing her and Bryan here together. So enjoy as we bring you into the world of the Burly Girl.
So Bryan, you weren't quite lucky enough to know Vanessa during the early university years, but I'll fill you in on what went on. So I got to live with Vanessa for the first 2 years of university, and this is a bit of a trying time in a young girl's life because you're first moving out of the house, you're sort of getting used to, living on your own. So it was really great to have a friend from high school to sort of lean on and support each other, especially when we realized we were going to be living in Mac Hall, which is an all-girls residence on campus. And so when I first arrived there, looking in other girls' rooms, I noticed that there was a lot of Winnie the Pooh dolls and other things I didn't really support as decoration. But when I had arrived at our room, Vanessa was an art major, and it was extremely impeccably just decorated, like every place that you would want to live. Unfortunately, I was an engineer, and my half of the room was not so neat. But I'd like to think that a lot of her style and some of her organization eventually sort of rubbed off on me. I don't know, maybe after second year. Because I lived with her for 2 years, I got to know her a little bit more intimately. You live with somebody, you wash your hair in the morning, you see how everybody lives. But I also know that after first year, we had to hand in our meal cards. And so there was no more, meals cooked for us. It was now we have to cook the meals. And that started out not so great. We burnt a lot of toast and ate a lot of spaghetti. So you can imagine my surprise when Vanessa came home after one weekend and she said, "Lauren, I've created this delicious meal." I was, what can this be? This is great. great news for me, because I know I'm going to eat a little bit better. And she made this delicious, it was scrambled eggs and mushrooms and I think garlic, and that was the first time we ever cooked with garlic. So that was a major, major breakthrough in my life, I know. But since then, she worked at with the grain, and she just is always experimenting with all these new ingredients, and she'll post them on this Burly Girls blog that we have. So it's really hard for me to keep up and try all these recipes that she's posting, but they're always really delicious. So now, Jenny, I think, is going to tell you a bit about the ingredients Bryan and Vanessa used when they were making their magic together. Thank you, Lauren.
Are the other Burly Girls taller than me? This mic is super high. I get the fortune of talking about Bryan and Vanessa and when they met. I was actually at the same party that Paul Peters was at and witnessed the falling over the railing. But I was there for the very first moment. I was lucky enough to be present the very first time Bryan and Vanessa met. It was the spring, and Vanessa and I came to Guelph to a party, Steve French's. He told both Bryan and Vanessa that he wanted them to meet. So we wandered into this packed house, and Bryan came and found us. He was really welcome. I had nothing to lose. I wasn't being set up with him, so I introduced myself. Hi, I'm Jenny, extending my hand. And what's your name? And I was met with the most uncomfortable 6'3" bearded silence I had ever. He finally stammered out, Bryan, to which I kind of in a bratty way answered, are you sure? Bryan's story is that he wasn't sure if he should introduce himself as Farn or Bryan, but I know the truth. He was so astounded by the redhead that stood before him. I've known and loved Vanessa for a very long time, and this will be echoed through all of our speeches. She's really amazing. She's warm, she's smart, she's generous, and she's very honest. And I've been getting to know Bryan over the past 4 years and consider him to be a close friend now. He's a really stellar guy. He's authentic, he's smart, he's interesting, and he's lots and lots of fun. But I think what has been really amazing is bearing witness to the relationship that Bryan and Vanessa share. From exciting and new crushes, to sharing that very tiny apartment together, to co-parenting Sadie, and the proposal in that Montana meadow. Bryan and Vanessa have continually demonstrated such love and respect for each other and for everyone around them that is with all sorts of sincerity that I want to say how encouraged I've been by their love and how excited I am to watch their next chapter unfold. And to talk about their next chapter unfolding, I think that we have some Burly Girl wishes from the next two bridesmaids.
Well, I think you can tell just from what we've all said, just how much Vanessa's meant to us as a friend through all these stages of our lives, and just how much we've learned from her and how much she's given to us. So I think I'd like to start by thanking you for being such an incredible friend to all of us. It's really meant so much. And you know, I think we're really lucky as a group of friends. Not that many people stay such close friends with friends from high school over all these years, and we've really stayed so close. Lauren mentioned we have a blog, and we just, I think we're as close as ever now with all these years later. And some of us are far away, and one of the things that, you know, I'm away at school in Cleveland, and so it took me a while to meet Bryan. I wasn't there on the first night like Jenny was. And so I've more slowly got to know him, but one of the first things that I noticed was through the blog and through talking to Vanessa and the other girls, just how happy Bryan has been making Vanessa and how that's grown over time, and how even from a distance I've been able to see how beautiful their relationship has been through Vanessa, and now of course getting to know Bryan better and better. And so we just like to congratulate them on their wedding today, and thank them so much for letting us be part of it. And to say thank you so much for being such an amazing friend, Vanessa. And Bryan, we'd really love to welcome you as an official, our first legal Burly man. And we wish you both the best for the future, and we can't wait to share that future with you.
To Vanessa and Bryan.